It's that time of year again when we sneak in some RailClone tips under the guise of our annual Christmas tree tutorial. In this, our 5th installment, we're going to look at how to randomize articulated objects like this desk lamp and learn some really handy tricks that can be adapted to many other types of object. Now, if you're a beginner, I would probably suggest starting with another tutorial. But if you can find your way around a linear generator and you know your compose from your transform operators, then keep watching to learn how these can be combined to create simple mechanical rigs. And if you want to follow along, files for this tutorial are available from the i2 software website. To get started, let's look at the source geometry. As with any kind of rigging, the placement and orientation of pivots is one of the most important considerations. This lamp has been broken into 5 parts. We've got the base, the bottom arm, the middle arm, the top arm. In each case, the pivots have been carefully placed to allow them to rotate correctly. So the bottom arm can be rotated on the Z-axis, the middle and top arms on the Y-axis, and the lamp on the Y and the Z-axis. It's also always good practice to reset the X-forms before adding the segments to RailClone. This will lock in those pivot positions and the current scale and orientation. So with that done, we're ready to get into RailClone. We're going to start by creating just a single lamp. Create a new RailClone object, open the style editor and add an L1S generator. Next, let's bring in all 5 of our lamp pieces. To do it, add a segment node and turn off bend and slice. Right click and select clone multiple. Pick the 5 lamp objects from the list and click clone. This saves us changing those settings 5 times. Create a compose node and wire it to the L1S generator's start input. Wire the lamp base segment to the first input of the compose operator. As you can see, there's no geometry displayed, and that's simply because the generator has no spline or length, so to fix it, increase the X size value. The amount is irrelevant for now since we're only building a single lamp in the start input. Next, wire the bottom arm segment to the compose operator's second input. You'll notice the segments are displaying one after another. Change the compose operator's mode to grouped to align all the attached segments to their pivot points. So this was the first movable part and it will rotate on the Z-axis. To randomize it, add a transform operator after the segment node and export the Z fixed rotation property. Wire a random number node to the new input. Set the type to float and generator on to segment and enter a minimum and maximum value. I'm going to use -135 to -45 in this case. Okay, so now we can build a basic rig. This is possible because from RailClone 4 and onwards, transforms across multiple chained nodes are cumulative. Although you should be aware that in every case, the transforms still use the segment's original pivot position, and that's a really important thing to understand. The pivot doesn't move with the segments. Now that can be a little counterintuitive, but fortunately, if you find it much easier to imagine that the pivots move and rotate with the object instead of remaining at their original position, all you need to do is to imagine the order of transform nodes is backwards instead of forwards. So we'll illustrate that over the following few steps. Duplicate the existing transform node and wire it to the compose operator's third input. Wire the mid-arm segment to its input. So far so good. By using the same transform node again, we've synchronized both segments to take the same rotation value. So remember the pivots are aligned, so now we need to move it to the correct position. Remember, we're building a hierarchy by working backwards from the compose operator here, so add a new transform node before the existing one. Go to its fixed translation settings and increase the Z value to move the arm up. Once it's in position, you can tweak the X value to move it to sit on the correct part of the hinge. Okay, good. Now we can randomly rotate this arm too. Export the X fixed rotation property, connect a random number node, set the type to float and generate on to segment, and then enter a range over which you'd like to rotate it. I settled on -80 to 60. We now have two controls, one to randomize the Z rotation and another to randomize the first part of the arm. So let's add the next section. Select and duplicate both the transform nodes, and then wire them to the fourth input of the compose operator. Wire the top arm segment to the new chain. Now let's move this into position. Once again, you add a new transform node before the two existing ones, working backwards again, and adjust the fixed Z and Y translation properties to move the arm into the next position at the next hinge. All good so far. Now we just want to randomize the rotation of this arm, so once again export the X fixed rotation. And connect a random number node, set the type to float and generate on to segment. With that done, enter values as appropriate. I used 30 to 100. Nearly there. Let's add the last part, the lamp itself. Duplicate the three transform nodes from the previous steps, and then add another at the beginning. Connect the lamp segment to the new transform node, and you know the drill by now. Edit the Z and the Y translation values to place the lamp on the end of the arm. Now let's export the lamp's rotation. Right click on the new transform nodes and export Z rotation and X rotation. Create two new random number nodes, set the type to float and generate on to segment. Wire one each to the new rotation inputs. For values, I went for -100 to 20 for X rotation and -90 to 90 for Z, but as with all these values, do feel free to experiment. With these set up, you can now randomize the angles of all the parts of the lamp. So you might think that was a lot of effort for a single lamp, but now we have it set up, it's really easy to create tens, hundreds, or even thousands of lamps, each one with different random values. To do it, let's take our single light and add it to some shelves to make an unusual Christmas tree. All we need to do is to make a couple of changes. So first of all, we'll add a new spline node and wire it to the generator's spline input. Then select a spline from the scene. Now we're going to deconnect the compose operator from the start input, and instead we'll move it to the evenly input. And now we can set the spacing between the lamps by going to the generator's evenly distant setting. There we have hundreds of lamps. One final thing though. The bounding box for each lamp is being used to align it to the spline, and this will be on the bottom of the bounding box in the center. Now because of the different rotations, this means the lamps are not placed on the spline using a common point. And worse, if the lampshade goes below the base, it will actually push the base up into the air. Clearly this isn't ideal, so to fix it, it's pretty easy. You just add a transform node after the compose operator and set the alignment for all three axes to pivot. Problem solved. So we're pretty much there, but these lamps aren't providing a lot of light. Unfortunately, RailClone 4 can't currently distribute lights, but we've just introduced this feature to our Forest Pack 7 beta, so you never know, it might appear in RailClone one day too. Until then, we can get around it by combining RailClone with the Forest Pack 7 beta, and to do that, you need to modify the RailClone style slightly so that it can temporarily create some markers. To start with, you're going to need another piece of geometry. You want a single triangle that will mark the location of the light in the lamp head. And then it's very important that the triangle's pivot point exactly matches the position of the lampshade's pivot. This will then allow the triangle to take the same random values to make sure that everything is perfectly synchronized and lines up correctly. With that ready, we'll now open the style editor. And we're going to create a switch that toggles between the markers and the lamps. To do that, we need to add a selector operator before the final transform node. Then, export the index property and wire it to a new numeric node. Limit the numeric node between 1 and 2, since we're only ever going to have two options here. Now, Copy and paste all of the nodes between the final lamp segment and the compose operator. By doing this, we're creating an exact copy of the lampshade's rotations. Then select the new segment node and change the geometry to our triangular marker. Wire the other end of the chain, the final transform operator, to the selector operator's second input. We now have a switch accessible from the modify panel that allows us to swap between full geometry and the markers. So far so good. Now what we're going to do is to create a second RailClone object and generate those markers in such a way that they'll be synced to this one. To do that, you can create a new RailClone object from scratch and just name it markers so it's easy to find later. Then we click the master style picker and select the lamp's RailClone object from the scene. And then assign this RailClone object to the same spline. So what have we just done? Well, these two RailClone objects are now synced. Edits to the original will cascade down to this style. However, and here's where this gets very useful, the changes I make to the values in the parameters rollout of this version will override the master's settings. Therefore, I can change our numeric value to 2 in order to change this version to display only the triangular markers. Perfect. Now all we need to do is to use Forest Pack 7 or above to add the lights. So first up we need some light objects, of course. I already have 3 in this scene, or 4, with different colours. Now I will create a new Forest Pack object in icon mode. I'm going to go to the items rollout and add those 3 lights to the items list. Once that's done, go to the distribution rollout and change the mode to reference. Click the Add Multiple button to open an object picker. Find the RailClone object called markers that we created earlier and add it. Now change the mode to Mesh Faces and disable Randomize Position to lock them precisely to the triangles, and you'll now get a light in each lamp head. That's it, the lights now follow the lamp head. If you go back to the original RailClone object and make some changes, you'll see that the markers, and therefore the lights, all update too, keeping everything nicely synchronized. Let's add one more thing. I also want to randomize the color of the lamps using RailClone color. That's easy enough. I'll just pop a RailClone map into the materials diffuse input and pick a few colors. The issue though is that because the lamp is made from multiple parts, the colors are different per element. So to harmonize them, all you need to do is to find the final transform node and export the colors seed value. Now connect a random number node with a large range, and voila, if I render now, each lamp is randomized with a single color. And our style is done, and that's it. There are quite a few advanced tips in there that can be used in many different situations, so we really hope you find them handy. Now this was the final video of this rather strange year, so we'd like to take this opportunity to wish all our users a happy holiday. Thanks for watching, we hope you'll stay tuned to plenty more episodes and announcements in the new year.